What's happening, people? And once again, welcome back to youtube.com/CubCamTV for this, another edition of the CubCast, our daily news section that we've been running over the last few months, looking at different stories and announcements in and around the world of Afrobeats, dancehall, amapiano, reggae, and everything in between. Now, today, we're getting into a very exciting announcement we've seen popping up on Twitter, but I just want to say thank you, first of all, to every single one of you that is subscribing to the channel, getting involved in the videos. This has been one of the most productive months in regards to viewership that we've ever seen, so thank you. I can't thank you enough, and also thank you to each and every one of you that is subscribing. We're now hurtling towards 43,000 subscribers, which is absolutely crazy. The closer we get to that, the more excited I get. So first of all, thank you to each and every one of you who is getting involved. We try to do these news updates as often as we can, but we are here to talk about something very special today. A tweet was posted a couple of hours ago. I've only just seen it. I've been following transfer deadline day more so I feel very much like I'm in the Sky Sports news studio at the moment. But we are looking at a very exciting announcement from, without a doubt, one of the biggest artists to ever grace Afrobeats music, potentially currently the most popular in the world if we're taking anything into account when it comes to charts and things like that. It is, of course, BURNA Boy, who put this tweet out earlier on today, which does say, working on this deluxe. Now, I'm sure the shrewd amongst you have already realised what this means. Of course, it means that he is working on the Love DAMINI Deluxe project, which, to be honest with you, is a crazy thing to see. This makes me extremely excited, but there are a few other things I want to discuss after looking at this as a tweet that we have now seen. It's very cool that we're now getting this kind of announcement a little bit early. I doubt it will be this week or the next week. This is likely to be something that falls a few months, maybe a month and a half down the line, maybe a bit of an early Christmas present for a few of us. I definitely think with this as well, it's exciting for the rumours that will now come off it. Obviously, when you break down the original album, one of the few, if not the only criticism I saw popping out regularly was the concept that the album was potentially a little bit too long. 19 tracks is a big album in today's game. Holding someone's attention span for that long is difficult. There are a couple of moments towards the end it starts to tail out in intensity as well, and that's a generally kind of wide-held opinion, but the album still definitely holds weight throughout the entirety of the tune. Throughout the entirety of its playthrough. But adding a deluxe edition to this would potentially move it up to maybe 23, 24. There's no point in doing a deluxe with like 2 or 3 extra tunes, just release them as a standalone EP. But this very much looks like we're going to be getting a full deluxe edition. When Wiz did it, I think there were 5 or 6 additional ones. We've also seen a number of other artists following on this pattern, but we are also starting to see a trend of newer albums. If you look at Chris Brown's album earlier this year, ridiculously long. If you look at Jules' album last year, Sounds of My World, that was ridiculously long, and that's already had a deluxe edition. So maybe this kind of thing of having to do shorter albums to appease people's attention spans is maybe wearing off, and people are going back to this idea of an album being a long play, a larger scale body of work that you can really sink your teeth into for an evening. I really like this as a potential thing. Obviously, I do want to briefly talk about the impact that WizKid has had on this. Obviously, he did Made in Lagos Deluxe. I'm aware there were probably a few deluxe albums beforehand, but none that had the same, I suppose, instantaneous impact as that deluxe edition. Obviously, Mood's on there, and obviously the remix of Essence is on there. And you now look around, we're seeing numerous artists actually doing this. We saw this with Ruger earlier this year. We've seen it with Terry, who's recently dropped a deluxe. We saw it with Jules, Sounds of My World. The deluxe version of that dropped quite recently as well. And I definitely think this is going to be a trend that we do continue to see in and around the world of Afrobeats, because it's such a great way of kind of carrying on the branding and the kind of campaign of an album without having to start something completely fresh but still putting things into that project. I think Wiz did it exceptionally well. I think Ruger did it very well as well, obviously Girlfriend being one of the biggest new releases of the year. And just in general, it's exciting to see what the possibilities of this could now be. Obviously, it could mean we have potential updates to the project. Do we think we are potentially going to lose any tunes on the deluxe edition? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a 23, 24 track final deluxe. Which, again, in today's market and industry is an absolutely crazy amount of music to be releasing on one project. 24, 25 tunes. Are you crazy? But alongside this as well, it does give way to some potential new collaborations. We've seen BURNA, obviously, off on tour around the world, obviously doing Madison Square Gardens, things like that. Like, we've seen him really pushing around the world and appearing on stage with different artists and things like that. This could potentially have led to a couple of additional collaborations that we weren't maybe meant to get at the beginning stage, but now, because of the success of the project, and I want to say dominance of the project as well, we could now be in for a treat with. In regards to potential collaborations I'd love to see on there, I'm a very greedy person. I would love to see an NSG collaboration on there. Burna Boy and NSG. Are you mad? That'd be an awesome thing to see. I'd love to see that UK link-up coming together. I'd actually quite like to see something with Ayra Starr maybe coming to fruition. I'd like to see that come together. And to be honest, another collab with Wiz, maybe even a collab with CK. So a collaboration with another one of these huge-scale Afrobeats artists. Obviously, Victor features on the project. Lady Smith, Black Manzano's on there as well. Mambazo, sorry, is on there as well. So there are other African artists on there, but it is a global album that is focused on kind of North America, South America, and Europe. That's the kind of areas we're getting into for the majority of the project listening. So it's going to be interesting to see who is actually involved on this, but something I'm guaranteeing we will see, and I'll be so surprised if this doesn't actually come forward, is a remix of Last Last. This is the longest running tune on the US Afrobeats Billboard chart. It is a tune that is destroying dances worldwide. If you followed my story last weekend, I was in a dance, this tune went off. I was on a boat party, this tune went off. I was out and about, and this tune was going off everywhere, and I live in Brighton in the UK, so like this is a tune that is happening worldwide. And I think the interesting thing on this is we're starting to see a real uptake in remix duty on this one from the I suppose from the dancehall community more than anything else. We're seeing a lot of dancehall artists jump on the back of this and doing their own remixes. We've already seen a lot of Afrobeats artists doing it, but I think there's going to be a big remix here, and I don't necessarily think it's going to be an Afrobeats artist. I think we're going to see Burna pin down a big international artist. I'm talking like major scale here, again in that sort of realm of a Chris Brown or a Derulo or someone like that, potentially even Hyper. Do you know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see Burna Boy and Drake on a tune. I'd love to see Drake doing a remix of Last Lost. Can you imagine how cool that would be? But then maybe someone slightly different, maybe an Alkaline, maybe a maybe a Shensia. She's obviously working her way into this world now soon. I'd love to see someone kind of take this in a different direction on an official remix, which I definitely think we are going to see on this project. And on other remixes as well, obviously on the on different sides, I'd quite like to see another kind of up-and-coming artist on there. Maybe someone like Aruga, maybe someone that may be somewhere where Ayra Starr could potentially show up, somewhere like that. In regards to the remixes, I'd just like to see more Afrobeats artists make their way onto this project, because it is a very global project, but I'd like to see a kind of secondary follow-up from the artists that are in the sort of scene at the moment. I definitely would like to see that happen. But you've got to say, this is an incredible album from Burna. You've got to say it's an incredibly successful project already. I think the Deluxe is only going to improve and enhance this as an album. It's going to enhance the kind of notoriety of it, the longevity of it, and again, it's a very similar idea to what was happening with Kids Made in Lagos, except the deluxe edition of Made in Lagos came out nearly a year later. This is looking like it could happen before the end of the year. I think this will happen before the end of the year as kind of like a sign out for Burna, and I think it's going to be a great way to round off the year. So guys, let me know your thoughts, of course, in the comments section down below. Very, very keen to hear what you think about this news as a deluxe. Who would you like to see on potential additional collaborations? Who would you like to see as well involved on remixes for Last Last? I want to see the artist maybe outside the box a little bit as well, for someone you'd love to see on a Last Last remix, because this is a tune that currently has the world in a chokehold right now. It's a tune that's super, super popular, and I'm very excited to see who does get involved in the long term. But there we go, guys. Thanks for listening to this edition of the CubCast. Of course, we are trying to do these near enough every single day where we can. If there is news, we do definitely try to put them up. And alongside this as well, we are trying to make sure that in everything we do, we are trying to boost the subscriber count on this channel to eventually get to 50k before the end of the year. So if you are new, do make sure you are getting involved by hitting that subscribe button on the right hand side of the page, turning notifications on, of course, leaving a like, leaving a comment, and all of that good stuff. And we shall see you all next time. Peace.
Sounding so good right now. But they're sounding a bright and town.
Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel right now, CubCamTV. Stay locked.